it is like a universal truth of reality television that when you take a group of conventionally attractive 20-somethings, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you strip away their smartphones and you trap them in a confined space covered in like neon signage, logic, just it completely leaves the chat.
It doesn't just leave, it is actively thrown over the balcony into the infinity pool.
Literally. I mean, we are talking maximum drama today. Love triangles that defy the actual laws of geometry.
The math is not mathing.
It is not. Brutal betrayals masked as friendship, shock bombshells designed to destroy peace, and just the absolute staggering inability of anyone on Love Island UK to make a single rational decision.
Well, it's a beautifully engineered sociological experiment, honestly.
Right.
You remove their connection to the outside world. You strip away their normal coping mechanisms. Like, they can't go to the gym to blow off steam.
No.
They can't call their mothers. They can't even listen to a Spotify playlist.
Which would drive me insane.
Oh, totally. You replace all of that with forced proximity, sleep deprivation, and the constant looming threat of public rejection.
Which is terrifying.
Exactly. So, of course, their prefrontal cortexes effectively shut down. They stop processing long-term consequences and begin operating entirely on, like, a fight, flight, or flirt response.
Flirt response, I love that.
Right. And today, we are breaking down the psychological warfare of Love Island UK, Season 13, Episodes 3 and 4. We are analyzing exactly how the producers manufacture these spectacular mental breakdowns.
And trying to decode the game theory behind literally the worst romantic decisions ever caught on 4K cameras.
Because there were so many.
So many. And we are ready for it. Babes, welcome back. This one is for our international girlies and honestly all our girlies. Cheers, babes.
Cheers. Clinking my glass right now.
So to the Snark squad out there, you might notice we've switched things up tonight. Normally we have our wine, maybe a crisp Pinot Grigio to keep things light.
Keep it classy.
Right, but tonight, the Long Island iced teas are poured. And babes, I have to warn you, these things are dangerous.
They are the ultimate trick beverage. I mean, a Long Island iced tea is an exercise in pure deception.
Completely. It tastes like iced tea, but there's zero tea in it.
Exactly. It completely masks the taste of ethanol with sour mix and a splash of cola. It actively bypasses your brain's natural poison detectors.
Yes. You order one at like 8 p.m. thinking, oh, what a fun, refreshing choice.
And by midnight, you are texting your ex, considering getting a fringe, and just making life-altering mistakes.
Right, but how is it even legal that a single glass contains every clear alcohol known to mankind?
It shouldn't be.
You've got vodka, rum, tequila, gin, and triple sec all just swimming around in there.
It is wild.
It's like the bartender empties the drip mat into a glass, throws some ice on it, and wishes you the best of luck.
Pretty much.
I mean, is it actually a classy cocktail, or is it just pure chaos in a glass?
Oh, it is definitively a chaos cocktail. Analytically speaking, there's nothing remotely classy about combining 5 different liquors that have entirely different flavor profiles.
No.
But that makes it the literally only appropriate drink for a show this incredibly messy.
It matches the energy perfectly.
It does. The Islanders are currently mixing connections and crossing personal boundaries with the exact same reckless abandon as a bartender mixing cheap tequila and gin.
Which is a recipe for a hangover.
An absolute hangover, both emotionally and physically.
I couldn't agree more. We are matching their freak tonight. Now, before we get into the actual villa madness, we have a mission of our own.
You do.
The inbox has been completely flooded with listener submissions. Babes, we asked for your stories, and you really delivered.
You guys are so messy.
So messy. We have received so many shady, snarky, or stupid confessions that we have to read 3 wild ones right now.
Let's do it.
We're going to break these down, figure out the underlying psychology of these messes, assign a verdict, and give them a chaos score from 1 to 10. You ready to play detective?
I am braced for impact. Let's look at the data.
Okay, confession number 1. Let's call this the sibling swap. Yes. The listener writes, "Hey babes, so I went on 3 dates with this guy I met on Hinge. Things were going great, or so I thought, but then he completely ghosted me. Just vanished."
Classic.
Right. Cut to 2 weeks later, I'm swiping on Bumble, and I see his younger brother's profile.
Oh my God.
I recognized him from the older brother's Instagram. Out of pure petty spite, I swiped right. We matched.
Stop it.
We went out. We actually hit it off amazingly well. Now we've been dating for 6 months.
6 months.
It's getting serious, and his family's summer holiday is coming up.
The panic is setting in.
I haven't told him I dated his brother, and the older brother hasn't said anything either.
Yeah.
How do I survive this family vacation?
Wow. We need to unpack the logistics of this absolute time bomb.
It is a bomb.
Because this isn't just a coincidence. This is a calculated infiltration of a family unit.
See, my first reaction is that this is legendary, but it is so incredibly toxic. Like, you matched with the brother out of spite.
Spite is a powerful motivator.
I mean, who actively chooses to introduce that level of nuclear tension into their own life just to get back at a ghoster?
Someone who understands mutually assured destruction, honestly.
Right.
Look at the brotherly dynamic here. If the older brother ghosted her, he likely didn't tell his family about her because it was just 3 dates.
Exactly. He probably just forgot about it.
Now, she's a fixture. When she shows up to the family holiday, the older brother is going to recognize her instantly, but he can't say anything without admitting to his younger brother that he ghosted his new serious girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
He is trapped by his own bad behavior.
I didn't even think about the older brother being the one who's trapped. But wait, she's trapped too, right?
Oh, 100%.
They are going to be sitting across from each other at the breakfast table, passing the orange juice, just sweating out this secret.
Letting it out.
What if they get a little tipsy on sangria and one of them slips up?
That's the risk of the game. It's a literal Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Neither side can launch the first strike without annihilating themselves.
It really is.
It's brilliant, frankly. She didn't cheat. She didn't break a commitment. She just played the algorithm to exact a very specific long-term form of revenge. But it is a total house of cards.
I think it's a terrifying way to live. Like, you can't build a real foundation on spite swiping. I'm going to say this is snarky, but bordering on dangerous.
I agree with the snarky verdict. Let's give it a chaos score of 8 out of 10.
8 feels right.
The explosion at that family holiday is going to be spectacular, and frankly, I wish we had cameras there.
An 8 out of 10 feels very fair. If the first one was an accidental family trap, this next one is premeditated infiltration.
Okay, hit me.
Confession number 2, the fake bestie.
That title alone.
Right. Our listener says, I started a new job at a marketing firm and immediately noticed the receptionist's phone background was a picture of her with a ridiculously hot guy.
Okay.
I casually asked if it was her boyfriend. She said no, it was her single roommate.
I see where this is going.
Over the next 3 months, I aggressively befriended her. I went to her boring amateur poetry slams.
Amateur poetry slams. That is dedication.
I listened to her complain for hours about her cat's dietary issues, all to get an invite to her apartment.
Wow.
I finally got invited to a pregame, met the roommate, got his number, and we've been secretly hooking up ever since.
Unbelievable.
And it ends with, I've slowly started to fade out the friendship with the receptionist because the poetry slams are unbearable.
That is ruthless.
It is.
That is Machiavellian strategy in its absolute purest form. We are talking about deep cover espionage.
I am appalled. That is the ultimate girl code violation.
Oh, completely violated.
You don't fake a whole friendship, endure 3 months of cat diet talks just to infiltrate a woman's home and steal her hot roommate. It's so deceitful.
It really is.
You are treating a human being like a locked door,
Bah.
and you're just picking her to get to the prize inside.
I condemn the morality, absolutely. But from a behavioral standpoint, I have to respect the hustle.
You respect this.
I respect the focus. The sheer dedication required to attend amateur poetry slams for 3 months just for a chance encounter. That requires a level of emotional regulation and delayed gratification that most people simply do not possess.
I guess that's true.
She played a long-term strategy for a short-term gain.
But I'd argue it's incredibly short-sighted. What happens when the roommate mentions to the receptionist that he's hooking up with her quote-unquote best work friend?
Oh, the house of cards collapses.
The friend who suddenly stopped returning her texts, it's going to blow up in her face.
Exactly. The fallout is going to be an HR nightmare. She secured the target, but failed to plan her extraction route.
Failed completely.
The receptionist is going to realize she was used as a stepping stone, and that creates a deeply hostile work environment.
It's giving sociopath. You cannot fake emotional intimacy just to get a phone number. This is highly shady.
Unquestionably shady. I'm assigning this a chaos score of 9 out of 10.
Oh, 9.
The lack of empathy combined with the workplace proximity makes this a ticking time bomb.
A total 9 out of 10. Okay, let's pivot from calculated manipulation to just sheer awkwardness.
My favorite.
Confession number 3. The toe-sucking terror.
Oh, no, 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 no.
The email reads, "A guy I'd been seeing for about a month invited me to a romantic weekend getaway in a cabin.
Sounds lovely so far.
The first morning, he makes us pancakes and brings them back to bed. I'm eating, feeling like an absolute princess, when he suddenly grabs my foot from under the covers and forcefully asks to suck my toes.
Why?
I laughed, thinking it was a weird joke. He was dead serious. He kept asking, just staring intensely at my feet while I was literally holding a forkful of pancake in the air.
The visual of that is haunting.
I got so grossed out, I faked a family emergency, packed my bags, and drove 3 hours home in complete silence.
Well, there is a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Mid-bite of a breakfast pastry is rarely the time to introduce a polarizing fetish.
I am viscerally cringing at the visual of holding a syrupy pancake while a man is aggressively eyeing your toes. But honestly, my pushback here is on the guy's timing.
It is terrible timing.
If you have a specific kink, fine. But why ambush someone with it during breakfast?
It's a catastrophic failure to read the room, and it highlights a severe lack of emotional intelligence.
Totally.
Let's analyze the sequence of events. He created a romantic, comforting atmosphere with breakfast in bed. He is building serotonin and trust.
He's winning.
He is winning. And then, without any prior communication or consent building, he introduces an incredibly specific physical demand. It creates immediate cognitive dissonance.
It really does.
The brain cannot process sweet pancake breakfast and aggressive foot fetish simultaneously. Plus, the syrup alone presents a massive logistical hazard.
Oh, the stickiness. It's just terrible pacing. You don't go from zero to toes on a Saturday morning.
No.
You have to ease into that conversation over drinks maybe a month down the line. I'm giving this a hard stupid on his part for fumbling the bag so spectacularly when he was already winning with the pancakes.
Stupid, absolutely. But I'll say the chaos score is lower because she successfully extracted herself from the situation rather than lingering in the discomfort.
True, she got out of there.
Let's give it a 6 out of 10 for the sheer suffocating awkwardness of that 3-hour silent drive home.
A 6 out of 10 is fair. Whew. Okay, I need another sip of this Long Island.
Take a sip.
Babes, we need to get into the recap because the villa is currently a crime scene of bad decisions and there's so much to discuss.
It is an active crime scene.
Love Island UK, Season 13, Episodes 3 and 4. Where do we even begin?
We begin with the architecture of these 2 episodes, which was masterfully designed by the producers to cause maximum psychological damage.
It really was.
They didn't just let drama happen organically.
Yeah.
They forced the islanders into an ethical corner.
Let's start with the secret mission and the brutal betrayal.
Yes.
Maya Jama sends in Bombshells, George and Yasmin, with a 24-hour undercover assignment. They have to integrate into the villa, flirt with everyone, and then ruthlessly dump one boy and one girl.
Insane.
And they had the power to do it for any reason whatsoever. It wasn't based on a public vote. It was based entirely on their own whims.
Which is pure, unadulterated villainy from a production standpoint. Think about the power dynamic at play here.
It's so messed up.
The original Islanders are welcoming George and Yasmin, making them coffee, trying to figure out where they fit in the social hierarchy. They are completely unaware that these 2 individuals hold their actual lives in the villa in their hands.
Literally, they're alive.
It's the equivalent of smiling at the executioner,
Yeah.
totally oblivious to the fact that they're sizing up your neck.
And the dumping itself was brutal. We get to the fire pit, the music swells, the neon lights are flashing, and Yasmin stands up and dumps Ellie.
I gasped.
Ellie, who spent the entire day being Yasmin's quote-unquote bestie in the villa.
They were inseparable all day.
They had deep chats. Yasmin literally said, "I'll keep you in the loop," and then she turns around and immediately stabs her in the back. I have to push back on anyone defending Yasmin's strategy here.
You were going to push back.
Yes, because you can play the game, but you don't have to be cruel about it.
See, from a game theory perspective, it was a tactical strike.
It was mean.
It was mean, but Yasmin wanted Aiden. Ellie was currently coupled up with Aiden. Therefore, Ellie was the primary obstacle. If you have the power to eliminate the obstacle, you do it.
I guess.
The problem is Yasmin's execution. If you are going to make a ruthless, Machiavellian move, you have to own the ruthlessness. Instead, Yasmin tried to play both sides.
Exactly.
She wanted the strategic advantage of eliminating her rival, but she also wanted to maintain the social capital of being the sweet, supportive friend.
That is exactly it. It's the hypocrisy that stings. Like, don't hold my hand by the pool and tell me you respect my relationship if you're planning to pack my bags 3 hours later.
It's bad optics.
But honestly, Yasmin's move at least made logical sense for her romantic goals. What about George?
Oh, George.
George didn't dump Samraj for a strategic romantic reason. He didn't even want Micah like that.
No, he didn't. This is where we get into the deep insecurities of the male hierarchy in isolated environments.
Please break this down for me.
George dumped Samraj because of his own fragile ego. It was palpable. Samraj is objectively good-looking. He speaks 4 languages. He has effortless charm.
He is a catch.
George felt deeply intimidated the literal second he walked in.
It is peak weak male behavior. He couldn't win with his chat, so he just exiled the competition.
Precisely. In the animal kingdom, when an alpha is challenged, they puff their chest or fight. George couldn't compete on a level playing field, so he used a producer-given cheat code to literally knock the strongest chess piece off the board.
He really did.
He eliminated the hottest guy in the room because he fundamentally lacked the confidence to stand next to him.
But then, the fake-out. The emotional whiplash of what happened next.
Cinema. Absolute cinema.
Ellie and Samraj pack their bags. They say their tearful goodbyes. They drag their suitcases down the driveway. They get in the departure car. And then the taxi literally reverses.
It's a panopticon effect. The producer sending them to the secret hideaway to watch the fallout on a monitor is top-tier reality TV production.
It is genius.
It shifts the power dynamic instantly. Now, the dumped islanders have total surveillance over the people who betrayed them.
I felt my heart beating out of my chest. You have Ellie sitting in a plush hideaway bed in her wedges, her makeup streaked with tears, watching the monitors and plotting absolute vengeance.
She looked like a supervillain origin story.
It is a masterclass in building tension. Is this the best twist they've ever pulled?
It's a brilliant setup, but structurally, a twist is only as good as its payoff.
True.
The producers have loaded the gun, but it's entirely up to Ellie and Samraj to fire it. If Ellie goes back into that main villa and immediately folds, forgiving Aiden and playing nice with Yasmin, the twist is completely deflated.
She can't fold. She has to stand on business.
The tension relies entirely on her willingness to hold a grudge.
And we know holding a grudge in that villa is hard because you're forced to eat breakfast with your enemies. Which brings us to the next morning in the main villa.
The morning after the massacre.
Robin. She spent the entire morning crying, reaching what I can only call a level 10 meltdown.
Let's analytically unpack why she was crying. Because she tried to present it as mourning the loss of her friend Ellie.
Which was such a lie.
It was a complete smokescreen.
Oh, totally. She was crying because George didn't dump her current partner, Sam. She was absolutely furious that George didn't do her dirty work for her.
Exactly. Let's look at the placeholder dynamic here. Robin is coupled up with Sam, but she considers him a safety net.
Right.
She actively desires George. Prior to the dumping, George had taken her to the terrace and kissed her, essentially signaling that she was his priority.
In her mind, at least.
Right. In her mind, George holding the power to dump someone was her golden ticket. He was supposed to eliminate Sam, freeing her up without her having to look like the bad guy.
Which is so cowardly.
When George dumped Samraj instead, Robin experienced a profound reality check. She realized she was not George's priority. She was just a distraction.
What unsettled me the most was George's reaction when she confronted him about it.
Oh, it was textbook.
He takes her up to the terrace again. He physically hides their faces under a bucket hat to kiss her.
The bucket hat.
Which is such a bizarre, sneaky move. And then when she is visibly upset and asking for clarity, he condescendingly tells her to just chill and relax.
Never tell a woman to relax.
Babes, if a man ever tells you to just chill while you're expressing a valid, coherent emotion, run for the hills. It is a parade of red flags.
It's a classic invalidation tactic bordering on gaslighting. He orchestrates a situation that intentionally misleads her, right? The secret kiss, the whispered promises.
Right.
But when she reacts naturally to the discrepancy between his words and his actions, namely that he didn't save her from her couple, he paints her as hysterical.
It's so gross.
By telling her to chill, he shifts the blame from his deceptive behavior to her emotional reaction. He gets the physical validation of the kiss while simultaneously stripping her of her right to be upset. It's Incredibly manipulative.
Thank God for Micah, though, because Micah saw right through him and completely swiped left on George.
She did not miss a beat.
After George dumps Samraj, who is Micah's top choice, George actually saunters over thinking he has a shot with her. And Micah shuts him down so beautifully.
It was a surgical takedown. George fundamentally misunderstood Micah's agency. He operated under the assumption that women in the villa are passive prizes.
Like trophies.
Yes. He thought that by removing Samraj, Micah would simply default to him by sheer proximity. He didn't account for the fact that she has free will and a strong sense of justice.
I have to highlight Micah's exact phrasing because it was poetry. She looks at him, totally deadpan, and says, "My friends would literally be laughing at you right now."
Devastating.
I praised her in my living room. She knows her worth and refuses to settle for a guy who has to cheat the system just to stand a chance.
But notice how George processes that rejection. This is where we see the impenetrable depths of his narcissistic armor.
Oh, he didn't even get it.
He completely misses the insult. He hears, "My friends would laugh at me." And his ego translates that into, "Oh, she is intimidated by me. She needs to back herself."
Yes. He actually tells her she just needs to back herself. I could not believe my ears.
It is a psychological marvel.
Yeah.
The man cannot compute rejection. A healthy brain processes negative feedback and adjusts behavior.
Right.
George's brain acts as a firewall against any information that contradicts his self-image as the alpha male. He genuinely assumes her friends would laugh because she scored someone completely out of her league, rather than the objective reality. Her friends would laugh because she's entertaining a clown.
A total clown.
No.
But speaking of men with questionable strategies, we have to transition to Aiden's sleazy, beggy kissing tour.
Ah, yes. If George is the insecure alpha, Aiden is the opportunistic scavenger.
Scavenger is the perfect word. I was so grossed out by him. The literal second Ellie is dragged out of the villa, Aiden is up on the terrace with Yasmin, practically begging for kisses.
He wasted zero time.
He's whispering in her ear, "Give me a kiss, give me a kiss." He's like a broken record of desperation.
It's because he treats the women in the villa like a group project where he's doing none of the actual reading but expects an A grade anyway.
Exactly.
His energy is entirely based on coercive attrition. Look at his body language. He sits uncomfortably close. He invades their personal space, making sure he's breathing the exact same air particles. It's a deliberate tactic to force a false sense of intimacy.
But I have to push back on the women here. If his tactic is so obviously sleazy, why do the girls keep falling for it?
It's complicated.
Yasmin admitted in her confessional that their first kiss was bad. It was awkward and forced. But he kept asking for redos until she just gave in. Why say yes?
Because of the social pressure of the environment. In the villa, saying no repeatedly feels socially risky. You don't want to be perceived as closed off or difficult.
Right. They want to seem open to the process.
Exactly. Aiden leverages that awkwardness. He begs and whines until giving him a quick kiss becomes the path of least resistance. It takes more energy for Yasmin to keep rejecting him than it does to just appease him.
That is so dark when you put it like that.
It's not charming. It's wearing down her boundaries through sheer repetition.
It is exhausting to watch. And transitioning from exhausting to just painfully physically awkward, the Lorenzo and Jasmine cringe fest. We were subjected to the most uncomfortable breakfast in television history.
Ah, the vegan avocado toast peace offering.
Yes. Lorenzo makes her this breakfast to smooth things over after their argument.
Yeah.
But we have to remember who Lorenzo is and how he operates. He is infuriating.
Very much so.
The night before, he calls Jasmine a promiscuous, sassy bitch. He constantly complains that she's too high maintenance. He tries to humble her in every single conversation, but then he brings her toast the next morning like it magically erases his misogyny.
Let's dissect Lorenzo's technique, because it is textbook negging.
Negging is the worst.
Negging is an emotional manipulation tactic where someone deliberately insults you to lower your self-esteem, making you feel like you have to prove your worth to them. He uses a loaded, judgmental term like promiscuous to put her on the defensive.
Right.
Then, once he's destabilized her confidence, he offers a tiny, insignificant gesture, like the avocado toast.
And what does that do?
It forces her to feel a rush of gratitude. It creates a micro-trauma bond. He provides the poison and the antidote. It keeps her completely off balance, constantly seeking his approval because he's the one who took it away in the first place.
That makes so much sense, and it explains why Jasmine falls into the trap. But then she completely ruins the peace offering by bringing up the toes again.
The toes just keep coming up this episode.
Why is she asking him to suck all 5 toes over a plate of avocado toast? I was losing my mind over the absolute lack of self-awareness from both of them.
The toe conversation is fascinating because it acts as a proxy for their profound incompatibility.
How so?
She brings up this fetish almost as a subconscious test of his devotion, and he is visibly repulsed. They're communicating in entirely different languages. He wants a submissive partner he can criticize. She wants a devoted partner who will worship her feet.
Right, so why don't they just break up?
Because the alternative is worse. The fear of being single and vulnerable in the villa overrides their mutual dislike. They would rather force this uncomfortable combative dynamic than face the very real threat of being dumped from the island.
It's purely a business arrangement at this point.
It's a survival mechanism disguised as a relationship.
They need to be freed from each other. Okay, we have to get to the biggest moment of the episodes, the brother bombshell and the recoupling cliffhanger. I lost my mind when Priya and Kavan walked in.
The producers dropped an absolute hammer with this one.
A sledgehammer.
Bringing in Kavan, a 21-year-old from Kent, is standard procedure, but revealing that he is Aiden's actual brother, that breaks the fourth wall of the show.
It shattered it.
They injected pre-existing real-world baggage into a completely artificial environment to create inescapable chaos.
The hilarious twisted irony of it all is that Ellie, who is currently stuck in the hideaway, fuming over Aiden kissing Yasmin, gets sent on a blind date with the new bombshell Kavan.
And she has no idea.
And mid-date, as they are making small talk, she realizes she has now dated or been romantically linked to both brothers. The web is so tangled.
It forces a confrontation that goes way beyond the normal boundaries of reality TV drama. It's one thing to steal a guy from a girl you've known for 3 days in a Spanish villa.
Right, happens all the time.
It is entirely another to navigate a love triangle with siblings. You have to consider the Thanksgiving dinners, the family group chats, the loyalties that have existed for 2 decades. The producers didn't just create a love triangle. They created a family feud.
And the other bombshell, Priya. Let's talk about Priya and Samraj's date, because that was the one ray of light in this dark episode.
It was a rare moment of genuine connection. Priya, who is 25 from Surrey, matched with Samraj immediately.
They look so good together.
They bonded over their shared Punjabi heritage.
Yeah.
It wasn't forced reality TV banter about what's your type on paper. It was an effortless, culturally grounded conversation. They had an instant ease.
I totally agree. They looked amazing together. But Samraj runs right back to the main villa after this amazing date, walks through the doors, and immediately goes to sweep Micah off her feet.
He made a beeline for her.
He physically spins her around like a rom-com protagonist. What is he doing? Why abandon the genuine connection with Priya?
Because Samraj understands narrative control and PR. He is hedging his bets.
Okay, break that down.
He knows Micah is currently vulnerable because George showed his true colors.
Yeah.
Samraj is smart. He is playing the wronged, stoic hero returning to save the princess from the villain.
Oh, wow.
He had a good date with Priya, yes, but his established storyline with the public is with Micah. He knows the viewers love a reunion arc.
He is playing the long game, which leads us perfectly to the cliffhanger. The text comes in, it's a girl's choice recoupling.
The dread.
But the twist is that if the new bombshells, Priya or Kavan, don't get picked by Samraj and Ellie, they go home for real. We are left completely hanging.
It's a brutal, mechanical twist. It forces Priya and Kavan to bear the weight of potentially sending the fan favorites home. The producers engineered it so that no matter what choice is made, resentment will fester.
Okay, we need to break this down further by looking at the specific dynamics currently at play in the villa. Which actually brings us perfectly to our first segment, a check on the chemistry across all the couples.
Let's do it.
Let's debate the strongest and weakest links right now. Who do you think has the strongest chemistry?
I know where you're going to go with this, but I'm going to preemptively disagree.
You do know where I'm going. I argue for Samraj and Micah. The way he spun her around when he re-entered the villa, it was electric.
I don't buy it.
You could physically see the relief wash over her face. She thought she was stuck with George, who is actively terrible, and suddenly her knight in shining armor returns. It's a storyline the public will eat up.
I push back on that completely. I argue that Samraj and Priya actually displayed the most natural, authentic chemistry.
Really? More than Micah?
Yes. As we discussed, they have the shared cultural background, and we're finishing each other's jokes. Micah, on the other hand, might just be clinging to Samraj as a lifeboat.
Oh, interesting.
Her only other option was George. What you are perceiving as electric chemistry might actually just be a trauma response disguised as romance. The The relief of escaping George is mimicking the feeling of falling for Samraj.
Oh, wow. That is a brilliant point. A trauma response to George is totally valid. It's like finding a glass of water in the desert. You're not necessarily in love with the water. You're just dying of thirst.
Exactly.
Okay, what about the weakest or most forced chemistry?
For me, it's undeniably Ope and Angelista.
Oh, 100%.
Ope claiming Angelista is a slow burner is one of the oldest, most transparent tricks in the reality TV playbook.
What does slow burner even mean in an environment where you literally sleep in the same bed from day one?
Exactly. It's an oxymoron. It is thinly veiled code for I am not physically attracted to her, but I don't want to look like the bad guy by dumping her, so I am stalling for time until a blonde bombshell walks in.
Right.
They are pure, unadulterated furniture at this point. They contribute nothing to the social dynamic.
I see your open Angelista, and I aggressively raise you Lorenzo and Yasmin.
Oh, the hostility.
As we discussed with the avocado toast, it is a hostage situation. It's forced banter, it's negging, it's weird fetish talks that neither of them actually seem to enjoy. It is the absolute definition of a dead end.
Fair point. A hostile connection is arguably worse than a boring one. But speaking of Yasmin, did you notice the subtle dynamics during the group chats?
Wait, what did I miss?
Kavan seemed secretly interested in Yasmin. He was looking at her across the fire pit, and the other guys even made a snide comment, wishing him good luck with that one.
Which is such a rude, gross comment from the guy. It just shows how they've all bought into Lorenzo's narrative that Yasmin is difficult.
The misogyny is loud.
But wait, if Kavan goes for Yasmin, that could finally save her from Lorenzo's terrible nagging. I am totally here for a Kavan and Yasmin pairing.
It would certainly spice things up and shift the power balance. As for who is genuinely connecting, I think we both agree the bar is subterranean.
It's in the Earth's core. Nobody is genuinely connecting except maybe Lola and Sean, who, by the way, is trying to make the nickname Fitzy happen, which is incredibly tragic.
You can't give yourself a nickname.
You really can't.
They brushed their teeth together and went to the terrace for a chaste kiss. It was technically a connection, but they are so painfully boring that it barely registers.
Yeah.
They were taking up valuable screen time that could be used for more psychological warfare.
Speaking of warfare, that manipulation is exactly what creates the villains in this environment. Let's move to villain watch. Who is causing the most absolute chaos and ruining lives?
We have to look at intent versus execution.
For me, the biggest pot stirrer has to be Yasmin. Befriending the girl whose man you want, sitting with her, holding her hand, getting her to spill all her deep insecurities, and then standing up at the fire pit and dumping her.
It's cold.
It is calculated. It requires a level of cold-blooded focus that is terrifying.
I counter that George is actually the ultimate pot stirrer, precisely because he lacks calculation. Yasmin had a plan and executed it. George acts on pure, unrefined insecurity, which makes his impact much more unpredictable and dangerous.
That's a good point.
He dumped Samraj out of jealousy, then immediately gaslit Robin into thinking she was overreacting to his betrayal. He stirs the pot, burns the kitchen down, and then denies there's even a spoon in his hand.
Oh, he is the worst. But if we're talking about most questionable behavior, I think we aggressively agree on who takes the crown.
Without a doubt.
100%. Aiden, the sleaziest islander of the year.
No contest.
Begging for kisses, sitting way too close, treating the villa like a buffet where he's entitled to sample everything, and the absolute audacity to look at Ellie and tell her we have unfinished business when she returns from the Hideaway.
He really said that.
After he spent the last 24 hours aggressively kissing the very girl who dumped her.
It is sociopathic confidence. He genuinely believes his jawline overrides his actions. He thinks he can reset the narrative just by smiling. But moving on to the most strategic player, I have to give this to Samraj.
Really? Samraj? I feel like he was just a victim in all this.
No. Watch his behavior closely. Watch what he did when he returned from the Hideaway. He didn't yell. He didn't scream or throw a tantrum.
He was very calm.
He immediately pulled George aside, called him out calmly but firmly, and asserted total dominance. He essentially said, I know why you dumped me. You know why you dumped me. Let's stop pretending it was about Micah.
He saw right through the lies.
He knows the cameras are rolling. He knows the public is watching. And he played the wronged stoic hero perfectly. It was a masterclass in crisis PR.
Okay, I see that. He controlled the narrative by not losing his cool. Who do you think is the person most likely to create future drama?
We have to look at the collateral damage from the twist.
It's Ellie. If Ellie doesn't completely fold and forgive Aiden, which... Please, Ellie, stand up.
Stay on business, Ellie.
She has the potential to burn the villa to the ground. Imagine her coupling up with Kavan, Aiden's own brother, purely to torture Aiden. She could be the agent of chaos we desperately need.
That requires a level of vindictiveness and strategic long-term planning I'm not sure she possesses, but structurally it would be spectacular television.
Let's manifest it. Now, the delusion required to pull off half the moves we've seen tonight is staggering. Let's head to Delulu Island and break down the absolute most delusional moments from these episodes and rate them.
We have an embarrassment of riches to choose from. The cognitive dissonance is running rampant.
Delusion number 1. Robin's tears. What happened? Robin crying her eyes out because George didn't dump her partner Sam.
Classic.
Why, it's Delulu. She somehow thought a man who covers his face with a bucket hat to kiss her in the dark on the terrace was deeply, profoundly in love with her. She thought he would enact a mastermind producer-level plan to free her from her couple.
A profound lack of situational awareness. She equated a clandestine, hidden kiss with a public declaration of loyalty. I rate this delusion a 10 out of 10. She projected an entire romantic comedy narrative onto a man who was objectively just looking for a quick, hidden ego boost.
I initially gave it a 9, but you convinced me it's a 10. Delusion number 2. George's eco.
Oh, this one hurts.
What happened? Micah literally tells George to his face that her friends would laugh at her if she dated him. Why, it's Delulu. George completely misses the insult, assumes she's intimidated, and tells her she just needs to back herself.
I am profoundly unsettled by this. I give it 100 out of 10. The man is living in a parallel universe where negative feedback is simply processed as intimidated blah.
Scary.
He's a walking case study in narcissistic defense mechanisms. He genuinely cannot conceive of a reality where a woman doesn't want him.
100 out of 10 is the only correct score. Delusion number 3. Lorenzo's love language. What happened? Lorenzo telling Yasmin his love language is her taking the piss out of him while simultaneously acting deeply annoyed, calling her names, and rolling his eyes every single time she speaks.
Make it make sense.
Why, it's Delulu. He doesn't know what he wants, he doesn't know what the phrase love language actually means, and he genuinely thinks a single piece of avocado toast fixes a dead, toxic connection.
It is the delusion of modern therapy speak applied to toxic behavior. He's weaponizing a psychological term, love language, to justify a dynamic that is entirely combative and disrespectful.
Exactly.
It's an excuse to keep negging her. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's frustrating to watch.
It is so frustrating. So where does this leave us for tomorrow? We need to go full conspiracy board on what happens next. String up the red yarn. What is our forecast for future heartbreak?
Let's start with the immediate future, the couples. Given the cliffhanger, all the pressure is on Priya and Kavan.
I predict Priya will pick Samraj. They had a great date, the cultural connection is real and effortless, but if she picks Samraj, that means Micah is left single, which will cause absolute devastation.
Well, Micah will spiral.
Micah will have to start grafting from scratch, and I don't think she knows how to chase a man. She's used to being chased.
I think Kavan will pick Ellie. He knows the history with his brother Aiden. He knows that producers brought him in for this exact reason, and he probably wants to assert his own dominance.
Oh, totally.
This sets up an explosive, deeply personal brother versus brother rivalry over the next few weeks. It's biblical, really. Cain and Abel in Mallorca.
Cain and Abel in matching neon swim trunks? What about future betrayals? Who is going to break a heart next?
I forecast that Aiden will drop Yasmin the absolute second. A new brunette bombshell walks through the front door. He is not committed to Yasmin in the slightest.
Not at all.
She was just the most convenient option to secure his safety and stroke his ego. Yasmin is going to deeply regret dunking her friendship with Ellie for a guy who treats kisses like free samples at Costco.
Free samples. It's so true. He has zero loyalty to anyone but himself. Okay, what about future bombshells? They've already brought in a sibling, which is insane. How do they escalate from here?
The escalation curve on this show demands something more intimate.
I jokingly predict they will bring in someone's mother next to oversee a date. Or maybe an ex-fiancé. Can you imagine George's ex walking in?
He would completely crumble. His alpha facade would shatter.
An ex is highly probable. It immediately introduces history, unresolved conflict, and forces the Islanders to confront the fact that these people have baggage outside the villa. Finally, looking at the long game, who thrives and who crashes out?
Let's start with who thrives.
Thrives, Samraj. The public absolutely loves a wronged underdog. He got dumped unfairly by a jealous guy. He handled the return from the Hideaway with immense class, and he now has viable options with both Micah and Priya. He is thriving.
I agree. He has secured the hero edit. As for who crashes out, George?
Absolutely. Unequivocally, George.
We aggressively agree. George is on borrowed time. His political capital in the villa is entirely bankrupt.
He spent it all.
He alienated Micah with his arrogance, he pissed off Robin by gaslighting her, he made an enemy of Samraj, and he has zero genuine romantic connections to fall back on. He is isolated.
He is a sinking ship, and I can't wait to watch it go down. Babes, this has been an exhausting, exhilarating journey into the absolute psychological mess that is Love Island. I feel like my brain has run a marathon.
It is a testament to the enduring, fascinating power of terrible human decisions.
Exactly. So we have to turn it over to you. Babes, we need to know which of those messy listener confessions at the top of the show was your favorite?
Was it the sibling swap?
The fake bestie or the toe-sucking terror? Were they shady, snarky, or just plain stupid?
And regarding the villa, we demand to know your analysis. Which couple are you actually rooting for, if any viable ones even exist?
Good luck finding one.
And who do you consider the biggest villain in the villa right now? Is it George's unchecked ego, Yasmin's calculated betrayal, or Aiden's complete lack of boundaries? Let us know in the comments. We want your full breakdown.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for surviving this absolute chaos with us tonight. Remember, if you love breaking down reality TV behavior as much as we do, remind yourselves to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your messiest friend.
The one who desperately needs a Long Island iced tea intervention.
Stay analytical, but embrace the chaos. Stay messy, stay flirty, and we'll see you on the Snark side.
But before we go, just think about that family holiday coming up for the girl who swapped brothers. Imagine the specific moment the gravy boat is being passed across the dinner table, and the older brother makes direct eye contact with her. The sheer, suffocating, silent terror of a secret that could detonate a family dynamic in seconds. That is the kind of real-world tension that even Love Island producers couldn't script.